Hello, you are listening to Disney Travel Tales, episode number 30. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and today's episode, my daughter Amelia and I are giving you all the details about a private VIP tour at Walt Disney World that we took during our January trip. To listen to that trip tale, go back to episode number 29. If you've ever wondered about what happens on one of these tours, then this is the episode to listen to. If you want to see tons of pictures from our trip and our special VIP day, check us out on Instagram at Disney Travel Tales. I am so excited to share that I am now an independent agent working with my favorite agency, Trolley Lane Travel. I would love to help you plan your next magical vacation. Planning Disney vacations is a passion of mine. When planning my own trips, I take the time to plan our days with lots of thought and attention, and I will take all of my tricks to make sure your vacation leaves you feeling content. The best part is all of my services are complimentary to you. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com or check out my Facebook page at Jenny with Trolley Lane Travel LLC. Also, by using me, you get the chance to be on the podcast. Retelling your travel tale really is the best keepsake you can have. I've recorded a few of my trips and I just love going back and listening to them. It's so special. Okay, so let's get going. Imagine yourself walking through a back entrance and seeing what really goes on behind those fences at the parks. And let's go. Hi, Amelia.
Hi.
So we are back talking again today about our trip. We are going to kind of deep dive and really talk about our VIP tour that we took while we were visiting Walt Disney World. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to start off by explaining what exactly a VIP tour is. And from the Disney website, it says, explore the parks with your own VIP tour guide during a customizable experience filled with attractive benefits. The team at Disney VIP Tour Services will plan the most efficient, enjoyable way for groups up to 10 guests to see and do the things on your list. Just tell your personal VIP tour guide what you'd like to see, and they'll customize your day to your desire. After being picked up from your Walt Disney World Resort accommodations in a private vehicle, enjoy unparalleled hospitality and experience some of your favorite attractions alongside a VIP tour guide. And the pricing it ranges from $425 to $850 an hour, and you have to call to reserve it. And I think it's either a minimum of 6 hours or 7 hours, but you can add on and go up to, I think, 10 hours. So Cameron, my husband, wanted to find something that he could add on to our trip to make it a little bit more special. And he talked with Becky from Trolley Lane Travel, our travel agent, and she had kind of given him a couple of ideas, but this was the one that he decided to go with. So he got us a 7-hour tour, and it was for the Thursday of our trip, which was January 20th. One of the things about the VIP tour, so Becky worked with this office and they kind of took care of everything. But one thing that me and Amelia did is we kind of typed up a rough draft of parks that we wanted to visit and rides that we wanted to do. So what was your one must-do ride, Amelia, at Magic Kingdom?
I wanted to do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yes. She definitely wanted to do that. I kind of did not want to have to purchase a lightning lane for that. So that was a definite must do on our VIP tour guide. And you wanted to do it twice, right?
Yeah.
And so we typed out a list, and this was our list. For Magic Kingdom, we had Seven Dwarfs Mine Train twice in Jungle Cruise. At Hollywood Studios, we had Slinky Dog, Toy Story Mania, Rise of the Resistance, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And at Epcot, we had Frozen Ever After, Remy's, and Test Track. So I knew we were going to be able to have a private vehicle take us to each park, which was going to take out so much time on transportation. And that was one of the things I was most excited about. So these were the rides that we absolutely wanted to do. And then I was hoping we could add some more rides, but as you'll see, our day kind of changed a little bit, and we ended up doing a lot more than I thought we were going to be able to. So even though it says online that they will pick you up at your resort, they absolutely will, but they will also meet you in any of the 4 parks. And you can pick your location. There's a couple of locations they recommend. So we met our tour guide at 10:30 a.m. at Cinderella's Royal Table, check-in podium. Since we were having breakfast there, we weren't sure how long the breakfast was going to take. But if you listen to episode number 29, you will hear that our breakfast was very fast, and we actually got to go ride a couple of rides before we met our VIP tour guide. So we walked over to Cinderella's Royal Table at 10:30, and she was standing there waiting for us. What was her name?
Cynthia.
Her name was Cynthia, and she was absolutely amazing, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was really fun.
She was so nice, and one of the things that I loved about her is she would talk directly to you, Amelia, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
She would ask her what she wanted to do. She would ask me what I wanted to do. She mentioned that she had looked at our list of things we wanted to do, that she thought we would definitely be able to get them all done depending on if rides were down, because a couple of the rides on our list do go down a lot, which are Rise of the Resistance and Remy's. But she was like, for the most part, we're going to have a great day, right?
Yeah.
So what was the first thing we did?
We did 7 Dwarfs.
So we went straight over to 7 Dwarfs, and to be able to go park to park with the VIP tour guide, you still have to have a park hopper on your ticket, which we did. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit. So we went over to 7 Dwarfs. She checks you in on her phone. She walked through the lightning lane line with us. We never had to use our magic bands. It just went straight through her phone. Once we got to the front, she held all our bags for us, so we didn't have to take anything on the ride with us, and we got on the ride and went. What'd you think about that ride?
It was really, really fun.
It's one of your favorites, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to add, this was a beautiful day weather-wise. It was warming up, but it was sunny. It was just absolutely perfect. So after we got off 7 Dwarfs, where did we go?
We went to Big Thunder Railroad.
So Jungle Cruise was on our list of must-do rides, but we ended up getting to do that ride on Wednesday, so we didn't need to do it again. But we hadn't had a chance to ride Big Thunder, so we decided to go over to Big Thunder. And again, she checked us in. I think the standby wait was 45 minutes. We got to go in Lightning Lane, and we pretty much walked right on, didn't we?
Yeah.
So a tidbit she gave us is when you were on Big Thunder, the line splits. She said stay to, was it the left or the right?
I think it was the left.
Stay to the left, because she said the right lane usually loads scooters, or people with scooters go down there. And so that's the lane where they'll usually stop and load those. So that was pretty exciting. It was pretty much a walk-on for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
And another thing is, we could request where we wanted to sit on the ride, and she would tell the cast members working that ride, and they would make sure that we got to sit in that spot. We didn't request a spot on 7 Dwarfs or Big Thunder because we didn't really care. Do you remember where we sat on Big Thunder?
No, not really. I think somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think we were right in the middle of it, and that was a fun ride. It's always fun.
Oh, no, we were in the second row.
Oh, we were?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I don't remember that exactly, but I think you actually might be right.
Because there was those people in the front where, this girl got, she, almost fell out of the whole ride.
I don't remember that, but I probably wasn't paying attention. Was she a little girl?
No, she was, a grown-up.
What?
Uh-huh.
I don't know how I missed that. So we got off Big Thunder, and it was getting warmer at this point. I mean, it was a beautiful day. We get off, and Cynthia is standing there with 2 cold bottles of water. That was so nice, because we were out of water at that point, And that's when she told us that she was able to get us each a couple of waters, a couple of drinks, and a snack each. She also told us that when you're at Magic Kingdom or Hollywood with the VIP tour, that they have kind of a back line to Starbucks. So if I wanted a Starbucks drink, she was just going to text someone and could go pick it up while we were on a ride, so we never had to wait in line. That was amazing. Like, I was so excited about that. So after Big Thunder, and we drank our waters and we were walking out, I was talking with Cynthia about the next park we should go to, and she asked Amelia, what park do you want to go to and what do you want to ride, and what did you say?
I said I wanted to go to Hollywood Studios.
What'd you want to ride there?
I wanted to ride Slinky Dog Dash and Toy Story Mania.
So we headed over to Hollywood Studios. If you're familiar with the parks, the place that the VIP tour guide parks at Magic Kingdom is between Tomorrowland Terrace and behind the Plaza Restaurant. So there's like a gate there, a fence, and it says cast members only. So we got to leave that way. We walk right out. Her car was waiting for us. There were cast members there waving at us, so happy to see us, very welcoming, opened the door for us. We got in the car and off to Hollywood Studios we went. It was so fun kind of seeing the backstage at these parks, don't you think?
Yeah.
She warned us. She said, all the magic's inside the parks, so when you're back here, you're going to see dumpsters and you might see some trash, but that's just the reality of it, which we thought that didn't bother me at all. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we left there, we drove over to Hollywood, and what's funny is I knew, like, on maps and just riding the buses and stuff, that Magic Kingdom was pretty far, but actually being in a car and driving from Magic Kingdom to Hollywood, I really realized how far away Magic Kingdom is from the other parks, because it took us a little bit to get there. So we pull into Hollywood, and at Hollywood, the VIP tour parks right outside the Tower of Terror. Like, it's right there. So you get to see the whole backside of the Tower of Terror, which that is one of my favorite rides. That was so cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really cool.
So we get there, there's people there waving at us, open the door for us, very excited. Hope you're having a great day. You're going to have so much fun. And we walk through these gates, and there we were. We were right by Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So what's the first ride we went to go do?
We went to go do Slinky Dog Dash.
So we walk over to Slinky Dog Dash. Again, she checked us in line. I think the line was like a 70-minute standby wait, and I think we waited like 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't too long. While we were in line, she showed us where a hidden Mickey was, and the big drawing behind the ride. That was really cool. On this ride, we requested to be in the front row. So she told the cast member when she checked us in, or when we got to the front of the line, that we wanted to be in the front, so they put us in the front. And then again, she held all our stuff for us. We got on the ride and we went. And what'd you say at the end of the ride?
I want to go again.
So we went, she's like, okay, we can totally do that. So we walked back around. We got out of the line. We walked back to Lightning Lane and we went right back through. So she gave us a really great tip this time we rode it. She said on the second hill on Slinky Dog, when you get up to the top of it, if you look over to your left, you can see all of Galaxy's Edge. And I had never noticed that before riding Slinky Dog, and it is so beautiful. Like, that was such a great tip. I loved being able to see it that way. It was really cool. So after Slinky Dog, there was a little souvenir cart outside of it, and Amelia had really been wanting a bubble wand, and so we stopped there and got her a bubble wand, and we met such a fun cast member. I cannot remember his name. I think it might have been Joe, but he does an amazing Mickey Mouse voice. It sounds exactly like Mickey Mouse. I could not believe it, and he was super nice. He got Amelia's bubble wand working for her, and she was walking away, bubbles going everywhere, weren't you?
Yeah, I think a bubble... I think I saw a bubble went in someone's eye.
Oh, that's crazy. So after Slinky Dog, what'd we go ride?
We went to go ride Toy Story Mania.
Toy Story Mania had about a 45-minute standby, and I think we waited 8 minutes. She scanned us in, we went through, and who won?
You did.
I won. But you were beating me, and you beat me on accuracy.
Yeah.
I just won at the end. After that ride, what did we do after that ride?
We were going to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but it was closed, so you went to the restroom and I got a Mickey bar, and then we did Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, we walked over to Mickey and Minnie's, and it was down for a little bit. They can't guarantee how long it's going to be down, and so yeah, I went to the restroom, and Cynthia went and got you a Mickey bar and got us another water, and then Mickey and Minnie's was up after that.
Yeah.
So we went and got on it, which we had done that ride the last time we were there, but the pre-show wasn't working. So this time we got to see the pre-show, and that made the ride 100 times better, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, I really loved that ride. I would have even been willing to do it again. I just wanted to make, at this point in the day, it was probably like right before 1 o'clock. I still wanted to make sure that we got the things done at Epcot that we wanted to do, and that we were able to get back to Magic Kingdom to do Seven Dwarfs one more time before our dessert party. So I was like, we'll just do this one time. Before we went into Mickey and Minnie's though, before we got on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I had mentioned to Cynthia, I was like, okay, I might be ready for that coffee at this point. And so while we were on the ride, she put our Starbucks order in for us and went and picked it up for us. Now, I did have to pay for that order. I just want to make note for anyone who might go on a VIP tour. They can get you some waters and sodas, but if you're going to get a drink from Starbucks, because it's kind of like an outside thing, you have to pay for that. So when we got off Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Cynthia was standing there with our drinks. Oh my gosh, it was so nice, wasn't it? You got a vanilla bean frappuccino, and I got just an iced vanilla latte. It was perfect, wasn't it?
It was very good.
So another thing that I loved among many things about this tour was that I really wanted to ride Tower of Terror. It is one of my absolute favorite rides. But with the trip just being me and Amelia, unless she rode it, I couldn't. However, I asked Cynthia, I said, if I want to ride this ride, could you just sit with her? And she was like, as long as she's comfortable with it, absolutely. And at this point, Amelia was probably very comfortable with Cynthia, weren't you?
Yeah.
She was just so nice, so easy to talk to. It was great. So we walked over to Tower of Terror. I think the standby line was like 60 minutes. We walked pretty much right up, maybe waited 5 minutes, and Cynthia walked me all the way to where I got in line, or right before I was going to get on the ride, and then her and Amelia took a separate elevator down. And she took a really cute picture of the two of them together and sent it to me while they were waiting for me. So I went on Tower of Terror. I absolutely loved it, like I always do. When I got off, Cynthia was standing there. And instead of walking the usual way that you do to walk out, we got to go out a back door that said cast members only, which took us straight to the parking lot, which took us straight to our car because we were headed to Epcot. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? I loved all the backstage things, didn't you?
Yeah, it was really cool. It felt like not even Disney.
I know. It was pretty fun. It's also fun. So the VIP tour guys, they wear this like certain plaid outfit. And so as we're walking around the park, it was fun seeing other people on their tours, and Cynthia knew the other tour guys, so they'd wave at each other, and it was just nice. It was fun. She's worked for Disney, I think she said 20, maybe 25 years. I can't remember exactly, but it was a long time, and she used to be in entertainment, and so she told us about how she was in parades in some of the shows, and it was just so fun talking to her. I loved all the things she told us about Disney. She loved working for Disney. She said nothing but wonderful things about it. And I thought that was really cool. Like having that kind of inside look into what it would be like was kind of just a bonus of the tour. I also really enjoyed having like another adult to talk to because it had just been me and Amelia, which was absolutely amazing. But it was fun to have another adult to talk to, and she was super easy to talk to for both of us, and so that was great. So our next stop was Epcot, where the car parks at Epcot is right behind Test Track, so we got to see the back part of Test Track, and that was really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it kind of just looked like big great building.
Yeah. The buildings are so much bigger when you see them from the back where the actual ride is. Like, we got to see the building that Rock and Roller Coaster's in, which you can't see when you're in the park, but it was massive. Like, I could not believe how big it was, which of course it would have to be, but it was just cool to see it from the outside of the park. But so they have like garages where they work on the cars for Test Track. And so we got to see that too. So because Test Track was on one of our must-do rides, we decided we were just going to go ahead and ride it. And the last time we were at Disney, you couldn't make your own car. So Amelia got to make her own car this time, and that was really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I got second place.
She did. So the standby line was 60 minutes. This one we waited a little bit longer because you do have to make your own car. It's more interactive. And so I think we waited 15 minutes for this ride. And Cynthia actually rode this ride with us. This was the first ride she rode with us. Another funny thing is because she's a Disney expert, she knows where all the cameras are on the rides. And so she would pose for the pictures when she rode with us. And that was so fun because we didn't know until later when we would go look at our memory maker and see the pictures. So that was super cool, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
So we were in the back seat of Test Track. I think you asked to be in the back seat, didn't you? Because she asked you, do you want to be in the front seat or the back seat?
Yeah, and I said back seat.
Back seat. But yeah, that's such a fun ride. And it was like, I felt like we went even faster than the last time. It was so windy.
It was.
So yes, like you mentioned, your car got second place, or I thought you got first place.
No, I got second. The people in front of us got first.
No, your car got overall first place.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, you did. And your car was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what it looked like?
Yeah, it was like a yellow, flat, kind of rounded car.
Yeah, and it had like super giant tires.
Uh-huh. Really, really big tires.
So we were leaving Test Track, and in that gift shop, they have like one of those sugar tube stands, and Amelia had kind of been mentioning that she was getting a little tired and needed a break, but I was like, we can't stop. We have to power through. Like, this is our one day to go through and ride rides without waiting in line. And so we got her a tube of sugar and off we were to France because we wanted to ride Remy's. That was absolutely our number one must do for the entire trip. We wanted to ride Remy's. So we walked through Canada back over to France. The Festival of the Arts was going on. It was such a beautiful day at Epcot. We kind of got to glance over at the art while we were walking around and stuff, and that was fun. We got back to Remy's. We walked up to the line, and there was a 75-minute standby wait. And right when we get to the front of the line, the cast member that works there looked at Cynthia and said, "Don't scan in, the ride just went down." And we were like, oh no. And so thankfully we were going to be at Epcot for a little while because we still wanted to do Frozen Ever After. So we were like, okay, hopefully it'll come back up and we can come back and ride it. So after that, Amelia had mentioned that she was kind of hungry. When we had been there in March, there was a kitchen that we now know it was for the Flower and Garden Festival, but they sold slices of pizza that were really good. And so we asked Cynthia about that. She said that no, that was just a Flower and Garden thing. And she had mentioned that the restaurant over in Italy did have a pizza window that was sometimes open. So another cool thing is the VIP tour guides kind of have this private chat they have online, like through an app. And so they talk to each other about different things going on at the parks, if a ride's down. So she wrote, Remy's is down at Epcot. And then she asked, does anyone know if the pizza at it's Via Napoli is open? Nobody responded. And so she's like, okay, they either don't know or it's not. So I was like, let's just walk over there. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. We can just go ahead, walk over there and do Frozen Ever After because Norway's on that side as well. So we walk over there and the pizza window was closed. And so at this point, I really did not want to stop and eat a whole meal for lunch because I knew it was going to take up our time. And I was kind of more wanting to just do rides and eat snacks along the way. So she had mentioned that the food court over by Soren had really good pizza at one of the stops. But again, I was like, I just don't want to do that. And so me and Amelia talked about it and we agreed to just stop in Germany, get a big pretzel, eat that, and carb it up. We were just carving it up for the day and powering through, weren't we?
Uh-huh.
And you were really tired. Like you needed a break because we were running. Not literally running, but we were walking so much and so fast because we weren't having to stand in lines. So we walk over to Germany and that was, Cynthia got that snack for me so I didn't have to pay for it. She also got me a soda and Amelia a water. And so we sat down and Cynthia got herself a pretzel as well. And she shared some of her pretzel with us as well, even though those pretzels are humongous, aren't they?
They are ginormous.
So we went and sat by the water on these benches while Cynthia stood in line to get the pretzels and drinks. And what did you do while we were waiting?
Hey parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
I chased birds and I made this weird bird noise and someone got scared.
There was this family of adults sitting over kind of close to us, and Amelia was running around making these silly bird noises, and she actually like freaked that family out. They left, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
After they left, I was like, all right, you need to bring it down a notch. So we ate our pretzels. They were delicious as usual, weren't they?
Yes, very good.
And then we packed up the leftovers. And what ride did we go to?
We went to go do Frozen Ever After.
And this was our first time to do it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So standby for this was 75 minutes. And would we wait like 10 minutes maybe?
Maybe.
So I love Disney people. I think they're the nicest people in the world. There were a couple of people in different lines, especially at Epcot, I noticed this. And they would talk to me and Amelia, and they would talk to Cynthia and ask her questions. Like they were very familiar with the parks and stuff. And they asked more about like VIP tour guides, how long they've been doing it and stuff like that. So we met this couple on Frozen Ever After. They were actually ended up being on the same boat that we were. And they asked us like, is this your first time? Oh, you're going to love this ride. This is our favorite ride. And so that was really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we sat in the front row on this boat, didn't we?
Yeah, we did sit in the front row.
Yeah, Cynthia's like, let's sit in the front row. So we got on the boat and the seats we sat in were soaking wet. Oh no, I think we sat in the second row.
No, we sat in the first row.
Okay. But the seats were soaking wet, weren't they? Like we literally sat down in water.
Mine wasn't that bad, but
mine was really wet, and so was Cynthia's. But it was hot. It was getting pretty hot outside, and so it was kind of nice and refreshing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we loved this ride, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a very fun ride.
It was so fun. Oh my gosh, I loved the backwards part. And then we got splashed pretty good. I did at least, and so did Cynthia. She was like very wet.
I was very wet too.
But we loved that ride, and once we got off that ride, Cynthia had been checking Remy's to see if it was back up. It was still down. I was getting kind of nervous. I was like, oh geez, are we going to be able to ride it? I told her, I know things happen with rides, and I know there's not in our control at all. So I had told her, if it's fine, if it's down, if we don't get to do it, it's no big deal. Like, I did not want her to be upset because she seemed a little bit stressed because she knew that was like our number one must do. But I'm pretty flexible, so I wasn't going to be mad or like complain or anything if we didn't get a chance to ride it. So we decided to stay in Epcot and go over and do Soarin' because I didn't want to leave that park until I kind of had a feeling that like Remy's was totally off the table for us. So we walked over and we did Soarin', didn't we?
Uh-huh.
And who did we see on our way to Soarin'?
We saw Winnie the Pooh.
He was so adorable. He was catching butterflies in his net.
Uh-huh.
And Cynthia said Winnie the Pooh is one of her very special friends. And so what were they doing?
They were like saying hi, and they're like, I love you.
Yeah, Pooh did a heart, and he told Cynthia, I love you, and that was so cute.
Yeah.
So we got to walk in the back entrance of Soarin'. This was another little shortcut she took us on. We didn't have to walk through the land. And we went through this fence that said cast members only. We went around the back. There were a couple of cast members out there eating lunch at some tables. We saw another VIP tour guide eating there. She had asked, he had kind of mentioned that he was trying to get his family on Remy's, and she's like, oh, I know. So we went in that way. Soarin' had a 40-minute standby wait, and we kind of waited a while. I feel like it was 15, 20 minutes maybe. But Cynthia had mentioned to us that we really wanted to be on the first row. And so she was like, we have to wait for the first row. That way when you're up, you don't see feet dangling in front of you and it feels more real. And so it was definitely worth the wait because that was so much fun.
It was so much fun, especially in the front row.
Yes, it was so nice. And I love that ride. I love the different smells on that ride. That's one of my favorite parts of it. So
yeah, it smells really good.
So Cynthia rode that ride with us as well.
Mm-hmm.
We got off Soarin'. So our VIP tour was going to end at 5:30. And the plan was for her to drop us off back at Magic Kingdom and check us into Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So all she had to do was check us into the first Magic Man stop, and then we were good to go and she could leave. She didn't have to stay with us to make sure we got on the ride or anything like that. At this point, it was getting later in the day, and it was kind of like our last shot. Like if Remy's wasn't going, we were just going to have to go back to Magic Kingdom and spend the rest of our time there, which again would have been totally fine. We get off Soarin', we're walking back to get into the park through the back way, and she's like, Remy's is up. So she goes, we got to hurry. We got to get over there before it goes down again. So we were like speed walking to France from Soarin'. It was so funny. We're like dragging Amelia, and you were kind of going a little bit crazy at this point, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like crazy as in like delusional. She was like being so goofy, so silly, and like over the top. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But we made it back to Remy's. It was still up when we got there and checked in. And we got to ride it, which was so fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a 75-minute standby wait. I think we waited like 6 or 7 minutes. And we met another super nice lady who was like, is this your first time riding it? Oh, I love this ride. And she's a local. She was like, I literally just stopped in today to ride this ride, which was kind of funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what'd you think about Remy's?
It was really cool and really fun. It felt really real.
It did feel real. So you are, explain the ride a little bit.
So it's kind of like you get in a ride and then you're like one of Remy's friends to explore the place. At the end, it was like rats cooking and all that stuff. And it smelled like garlic bread, fresh baked garlic bread. And it smelled so good. But we did get wet a little bit. Like at the beginning, what's his name? The person that's like Remy's best friend.
Emil.
Yeah. He wiped us with a mop.
Yeah.
And we got a little wet. And when the rats were cooking, sort of at the end. They were opening a champagne bottle, and they did it towards us, so we got a little wet there.
Yeah, it's a super cute ride. And yeah, when they go in, so it's like you're brought down to the size of a rat, you're racing through the kitchen. It did make you wear 3D glasses. It's a trackless ride, so it's a very smooth ride, but it made me a little bit motion sick, and I never get motion sick. But, and I wouldn't say motion sick necessarily, but it made me feel like it was a lot. Like you are wearing 3D glasses, it's giant screens that you're watching, and you're being whipped around. So if you have any sensitivity to like motion sickness, I'd be careful riding this ride, or I would wear a band or a patch or something.
I didn't feel anything like that. I just thought it was fun.
But it was fun, and I loved it, and I would definitely ride it again. I actually really want to ride it again. I think I'd enjoy it more the second time, but it was fun. I'm so happy we got to ride it. So after that, we headed back to Test Track. I mean, we circled Epcot like twice. We walked around the World Showcase twice, I feel like. It was a lot of walking.
It was.
We made it back to the front to where Test Track was, went out, and I think it was like 5:10, 5 o'clock, 5:10. So time was definitely running short. I even think we went over a little bit, but it wasn't much, and Cynthia was super nice.
Maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, maybe like 10, 15 minutes. Amelia kept saying, Cynthia, I want you to ride Seven Dwarfs with us. And she was like, oh, I can't. I'm sorry. And I told Amelia, I'm like, she's been with us all day. Like, she's ready to go. So we get over to Magic Kingdom. We pull back in the same spot. And it was at this time that Cynthia said she had a special surprise for us. And what did she give us?
She gave us this limited edition VIP tour pin, and you can only get it on the 50th anniversary.
So it has the castle at the top of the pin. The pin is in the shape of like a pennant flag, kind of, with the castle with 50 like engraved in the castle. And she was like, this is a limited time pin for only this year if you do a VIP tour. The pins are beautiful. Like, I love pins. I collect them. I was so excited. And I feel like I had read about getting a pin before, but I had forgotten. And so when she gave it to us, I was like, that almost made my day. I was so happy. So we get back in and we go over to Seven Dwarfs. She checked us in, and then we told her goodbye. And this whole experience with Cynthia was amazing. Like, this was the best day. We had such a great time, didn't we?
Yeah.
We ended up not doing Rise of the Resistance or Galaxy's Edge because Amelia doesn't care a whole lot about those rides. I had put Rise of the Resistance on there, but then when I asked her, do you want to do that? She was like, no. So we just didn't do it. And I was totally fine with that because I've done that ride 2 other times. But we ended up doing so many rides. We did 11 rides at 3 different parks in 7 hours. That's insane.
It really is.
Cynthia had also mentioned that whenever you do book a VIP tour, you can request a certain guide. And she said that they have families who come back every year and do a tour with them because you almost get spoiled. Like, I would love to be able to go back and do one of these tours with the rest of my family, with Cameron and the boys, because they would absolutely love it. Having the opportunity to see those backstage things, having the opportunity to talk to someone who's very familiar with the parks and with Disney, that was so much fun. And that was a part of the trip, like the whole tour, that I didn't even know was going to be my favorite part. And that ended up being my favorite part of the tour. The rides are so much fun. And of course, one of the big things about Disney, but ultimately you can do those rides on your own. Like, we could have done those rides throughout the span of our trip without Cynthia. Yeah, we would never be able to do all 11 of those rides in the same day without her, but it was her knowledge and just being with her that made the tour so worth it. 100% worth it. I would recommend to anyone, if you get the opportunity to do one, to do it. And there's all different things. So you can choose the time that you meet your tour guide. If you choose to meet them later in the day, they actually have reserved fireworks seating at the parks that do fireworks that can roll up into your tour. Because we had the dessert party, we didn't need that. And so that's why we chose to meet her earlier in the day. But if I was to do this tour again, I actually would choose to meet them later in the day, especially if we go and do this tour with all 5 of us, because my family prefers to sleep in. I love to wake up early and get going. They prefer to sleep in. If I was to plan my perfect VIP tour, I would plan for a later breakfast at Topolino's and then ride the Skyliner over to Epcot, and I would have our guide meet us right there in France. Start there and then go from Epcot to Hollywood Studios to Magic Kingdom. That would be my ultimate and then end at the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. That would be my ultimate VIP tour day. So what were your favorite parts of the VIP tour, Amelia?
Mine was Slinky Dog Dash and Seven Doors Mine Train, and probably a lot of Epcot because Epcot was really fun. And those rides are like one of my favorite rides, so.
What did you like specifically about the tour? Like that we, like something you experienced being on the tour with Cynthia?
I like going backstage because it's really cool, like seeing all the stuff. And like I said, it doesn't really look like Disney, but it's still Disney.
Yeah, that was special. It was a very special day. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
I don't think so.
All right. If you have any questions about a VIP tour, I am now a travel agent working with Charlie Lane Travel. I would love to help you get one of these scheduled. If you have any questions at all just about the tour, anything I haven't mentioned, just send me an email. You can find my email in the show notes, and I would love to talk to you about this. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you have any questions about the VIP tour, I would love to help you. Just email me or reach out to me on my socials. Also, if you are enjoying the show, the best way to support it is by leaving a positive review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. This is the easiest way to help the show grow, and I really appreciate it. I love interviewing guests and giving them a space to share their magical vacation stories. Next week, I will be back with a brand new guest, and she will be sharing a very special travel tale. So until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.